Okay, good morning, everyone. March 24th, 2025, ELEC 1013, Network Cabling, Fanshawe College. All right, so if we look at the course plan that we have, right now we're at week 11. There's test 3 that's already deployed, and it involves these topics right here: category cabling, the infrastructure concepts that we talked about, the walls, interior, exterior walls, and vapor barriers, and all that stuff, and the fiber optic 1 and fiber optic 2. There are 15 questions, but a couple of those questions are worth 3 points, and they are actually indicated while the question pops up. So it all comes down to 20 points, right? So you have since today, you have the whole week, whole business week. So Monday to Friday, and all the rules are posted, same as all the other tests. All right. Now we're going to dip into today into the security and surveillance, security, fire, and surveillance. Details, somewhat details on what's going on, and the business that's behind it. I think I'm missing something. Well, I'll remember. So yeah, do the test. Oh yeah, okay. There's going to be no new content when it comes to our in-person classes. However, I will be there to talk. If somebody wants to talk, come and visit. That would be the time to see if there is anything that you're struggling with, or have any questions about anything. I just won't be able to answer any questions that are associated with the test or the quiz. However, anything else that you want to talk about, and I think some people should come and talk to me. So I'll be available for that hour in person. If you're all good and you're up to date and you have no questions, then you're welcome to use that time to either write the test or study for the test and then write it. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit of a breather, but not really. Okay, when it comes to that, we need that checkpoint thing to see if anybody is struggling with anything. That would be the time to address it. Okay? And I would strongly encourage you, if you're struggling with the marks, just come and talk to me. I will help you as much as I can. All right. Okay. So that's as far as course plan. All right. This is our class portal. Oh yeah. One more thing. The lab. Right now we have 3 labs left. 3 lab sessions. Where's my course plan here? There. So where's my lab schedule here? All right. So we have 3 labs that we're going to do over the like from now till the end. Okay. So the most significant lab, the biggest lab out of all 3 is the optical fiber splice, and we are going to perform a fusion splice. The only thing with the fiber optic fusion splice is that this lab has to be supervised so you don't get hurt. So I'm going to have to give, or we're going to have to give you the in-class demo. I strongly recommend that you watch the video that is in the lab sheets. That will help you a lot. But that will be, we will give you a live demo on that, and we will be supervising you closely to make sure that none of the scrap pieces or nobody gets poked around with the fibers. it involves a little bit extra supervision when it comes to that, which means based on the past experience, we are able to, in that 2 hours, including the demo and the demo of the other two labs, well, you'll be doing the other two labs, which would be the coaxial cable, and that's a really short thing to do. So you can do it quickly. And there's something that's called a nose prep. It's preparation of the lead end of the wiring bundle for pulling. So those two you're going to do while you're waiting for your turn for the optical fusion splice. Now, based on our past experience, the realistic number of how many people we can process during the lab time that we have allowed for the lab class is about 9 people, 9 or 10 people at the most. But so some of you might have to come back another day for that. So, but for the first class, now this is how I with my section. This is how I solve it. Now, the other professors who are doing the other sections, they might have another approach, and they are communicating it with you, right? So dividing the class into, maybe 2 or 3 different subsections or parts. So go with what the other professors are, Mr. Bailey and Mr. Habinsky, what they are communicating with you. With my section, I just want everybody at the first session, so everybody watches the demo. If anybody has any questions, ask away, and then we're going to do the lab, and whoever is not able to do it at that time, well, also people are watching while this thing is being performed, the lab. So you are learning by watching it, and then by the time it's your turn to do it's easier for you than some of the first people that do it, which it works out pretty good, because the people who are doing the first, they're going to get more supervision from me. The people who are doing the last, then it gets to the point that they almost can do it by themselves, which is actually the point as well. Yeah, everybody from my section, everybody come to my section, my lab, and we will sort it as far as who comes next and who doesn't have to come for the next labs. Then it's going to be sorted out during that lab session. Okay, so that's as far as that. Okay. This fusion splice, it's actually a pretty cool lab to do, because you're getting to splice 2 strands of fiber optics using something that's called a fusion process. I think it's quite cool. All right, so that's as far as that. We got this thing out of the way. Let's do some stuff here. Where's my... Here is my presentation here, okay? All right, so we're going to dip into next week a little bit, and actually it works fine, because I find these 3 subjects that we're presenting, sometimes they take a little bit longer than the time allowed, so now we have some extra time, we can use that. So we don't have to rush, and I don't have to scramble for time when trying to give you as much as we can. Now, all right. So part of the job that you would be doing if you land in this type of field is not just pulling wires from one end to the other and terminating them. However, that is a huge part, and there is a whole lot of, I would call it practical science when it comes to that, and it just comes with experience. And yes, there is money to be made. You can do quite well when doing this. It's not happening overnight. You're going to have to make your name known when it comes to this. It doesn't take long either, right? But again, it doesn't happen overnight. But there are other aspects that are associated with this type of, I would call, data or signal infrastructure business. All right. So sometimes you're going to have to pull the wires for the data cabling. Sometimes you're going to have to install the wires for security alarms. Fire alarms, not as much unless you are trained as a fire technician, but this one here, I'm going to give you a bit of a tasting platter, so to speak. And if you feel like you want to pursue that, talk to me or talk to Mr. Riekers, our coordinator. We can point you in the right direction if you want to get some further education when it comes to fire alarms. We do offer fire alarms. The whole aspect that has to do with fire. Well, not lighting up fire, but fire prevention and fire safety and things like that. And that's a pretty not bad of a career to pursue as well. So I'm going to show you what's involved, more or less. And if it's something that appeals to you, then by all means, talk to us and we'll point you in the right direction. And I throw in a little bit of security surveillance. So basically that is the security cameras. Okay? So let's start with the security alarms. What is involved? When you download this presentation, just watch these 3 short videos. This one here shows a water detector, how it works. This one here shows different types of keypads and some other aspects that have to do with security alarms. So that's going to give you some additional sort of like information based on which you can see if you want to pursue this type of thing. Now, as I always say, the different I keep getting pop-outs. My computer needs to be updated. Anyway, so I keep. You see, that thing just threw me off. Security. Oh yeah, I always keep saying what the difference is between pedagogy and andragogy. Pedagogy stands for teaching children, and andragogy stands for teaching adults. And when it comes to curriculum delivery, it's slightly different. Teaching children, you give them exercise and they do without questions asked, and they get fascinated with the process of whatever they are doing, not questioning why they would need that. They just get, that's how child's mind works. Now, when it comes to teaching adults, an adult wants to know why they're studying. Like, why do I need to know that? How is that going to help me with me getting a job, or me on the job, or how is it going to help me supporting myself? Because that's what I need to do. That's where my mind is hovering towards right now. So when it comes to this andragogy part, I'm going to tell you this. There is a way to make money when it comes to security alarms. Now, one of the most beautiful things about this type of business is the residual income. How do we get residual income from installing security alarms? The answer is monitoring. Right? Now, security alarms, in order to be effective, they need to be monitored. Which means if you're not there, the business is basically after hours, and if somebody breaks in, the alarm can make noise. The alarm can trigger and they can make a bunch of noise, and there could be people walking down the street hearing the noise. Like, how many times do you react if you hear some sort of car going into alarm state in some parking lot? Do you run to see what's going on? No, you just say, okay, hopefully somebody pressed the wrong button by mistake or something like that. And also the other thought is, I'm not going to get there, because if there's some sort of bandits trying to to rob the car, I don't want to get hurt, because they could be aggressive and stuff like that. So you just kind of stay away. That's the human type of reaction that we get. So same thing with any kind of a business building. You hear some sort of alarm noise. You're not going to go and rush in there to try to, be the Superman and and try to solve the world's crimes. You're just going to try to stay away from there because you don't want to get hurt. And in the meantime, the robbery can be, so there's some police car in the, yeah, nice background. Thank you, London Police. Right on topic. Okay, so now the alarm is more effective if it is monitored. How is an alarm system being monitored? How is that whole thing being solved? The alarm system is not contacting the police. There is no such thing as the alarm system is going to dial the police, some sort of a server in police at the police station, and the police are going to drop everything and rush to help you. That's not happening. Okay, what happened is that there are so-called monitoring stations, and the monitoring station is a business set up with the purpose of providing monitoring service. There are different companies around our area, and if you're interested in that kind of stuff, talk to me in private. Excuse me. And I will give you a little bit more information. But how does that work? Okay. A client who gets the alarm system being monitored, the client pays monthly fee. Let's just say, for the argument's sakes, I'm going to pull a number out of the air. Let's say it costs the clients $30 a month to monitor their business. Now, that's another reason why I preferred always, when I was in the business heavily some years ago, I always preferred to deal with businesses, with the commercial type of installation rather than residential. Because in the residential setting, people don't want to pay the monthly fee for monitoring. They will say, oh, can you make this thing dial my cell phone and da 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 da. Yes, I can, but please don't. I always would get a disclaimer for the clients to sign, is that yes, I installed the security alarm at your place, but that doesn't mean by any sort of imagination that this thing is going to protect you. Yes, you can still get broken in, you can still get robbed. This is a deterrent and quite effective, mind you, but if something happens, please do not sue me or something like that, because I'm letting you know at the front. There's no control I have what the robber is going to who is going to do, right? He might just ignore, or she. We gotta be politically correct. They might ignore the alarm and just keep doing whatever they are doing. Right? However, long it's going for the police is going to show up. If this thing is not monitored, they might never show up. But when it comes to business or commercial setting, the clients are okay with paying monthly fee for monitoring, because this is the way they have the business model solved, and there's some tax deductions they can deduct from the taxes, or maybe the insurance that they have. The insurance is going to be a little bit less if they have a monitored alarm system. So it's easier for the client, that's a business, to do that, because they can solve their accounting in different ways. So pretty much they will get instead of paying $30 a month, at the end of the day, they might not pay us actually $30, because they're going to get a discount from insurance. Maybe they're going to get some tax deductions. Who knows how that thing is solved? But it's easier to get that monitoring set up with the business. How does that work now when it comes to you? All right, they pay that $30 to you. Now, what you do is you set up as a client of a monitoring station. You collaborate, you get into a business relationship with a monitoring station. You just call them and say, look, I install alarms, and can I use you as a monitoring station? And they will welcome you with open arms, because that means you're going to get them clients to be monitored, and that means money for them. So win-win-win situation kind of a thing. So what happens? The client pays the $30 to you, and let's say if you don't have enough clients, then the fee for the monitoring station is going to be slightly bigger. Then if you get more clients, a lot of clients, then they're going to give you some discount, right? So let's say the client pays you $30 per month. And let's say you give $10 a month to the monitoring station. You get to keep the rest per month, per client, just because the system is monitored. That's called residual income. So that's an incentive to you to get as much clients as you can, and it does take a little bit to build up a clientele. But if you get enough clients, you can have significant type of an income just from the monitoring aspect of the business. Plus, the other thing is that if you have enough clients, there's always something that they will want you to do. Statistically, somebody is going to call you. Oh, we are moving from one place to another. Can you move the alarm system? Oh, we are adding a couple of rooms. We need sensors. We have done this. Can you, somebody knocked out the sensor. Can you go and fix it? Then the service calls. Of course, you charge money for the service calls. And then also, if you're in a good relationship with your clients, which is an excellent idea to be in a good relationship with a client, then they will recommend you to other people to install things. And the more clients you have, statistically, there's a better. So then once you get this business model kind of swung out, and it's just for the alarm kind of a system point of view. Of course, you're going to be doing all kinds of other things, data installations, and maybe somebody needs something else, But this is a significant money maker for you. So I would encourage you to kind of look into that. And I've done it for years. If you're interested in that, talk to me. I will set you in the right direction. I'm just not going to do this over the over the internet. All right. So after you have watched, which I encourage you to watch, because I'm not going to play YouTube here. I'm not going to play YouTube on YouTube because this will be placed on YouTube. This is a typical main board of an alarm system. Now, different brands, different companies will have this thing solved in one way or another, but more or less you're going to see certain common elements such as these. Let's take a look at the this screw terminal connectors and take them from left to right. Let's see what we can see here. These two here, it says AC. That's where the system gets its power. You connect the, so-called bell transformer. It's about 18 volts AC, all right? So the doorbell transformer, don't confuse that with this word bell, nothing to do with that, all right? Now, there are two types of transformers. One is wire-in transformer that you install that right on the electrical panel and run the primary winding wires to the circuit breaker and the other one to neutral. And you have a couple of screw terminals on the side of the electrical panel, and then you can run those wires straight to here, and the alarm system is going to get its power. If the power gets cut off, maybe somebody hits a hydro pole or something, the neighborhood loses power. Well, it is possible to have a backup battery, and it's actually recommended to have a backup battery. That's where the backup battery gets connected with this type of a connector here. Right? And it's actually here, so it's red, black, because the battery will have a connector. You just plug that thing in. I would suggest, if you do that, write down with the magic marker or maybe some kind of a sticker on the battery the day you have installed that battery, because after some time the batteries get they get bad. Right? They just expire. So they don't want to charge anymore and stuff like that. So you're going to have the security panel showing you an error, and it's going to be a battery error, but that takes 3-4 years. So it's a good idea to write down the date on the battery so you will know, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. The battery needs a replacement. So you're just going to replace the battery. So that's as far as the power. Now here, these two here, these are to connect it's called bell. It's just like the bell, the alarm bell. So that's what they call it. But right now it's a siren that it's in the shape of a speaker horn. Now it's not a speaker; it's a noisemaker. You don't put audio through that horn. You put voltage to it. If the system goes into alarm state, 12 volts will appear on these two terminals, and once you power up the siren with 12 volts, it is going to make the most annoying sound and loud, unbearable sound to the human being. That's, well, your brain is going to try to tell you, get out of here, because you can't stand that. So that's as far as that. Okay. Now there are different. There are 15-watt sirens and there are 30-watt sirens. Mostly, you're going to have installed. I would recommend the 30-watt siren. It's louder. Right? There are also other devices that can be connected to these terminals. One of them is an outside. They're called pointer, or like basically an outside strobe light and a piezoelectric buzzer. That is really good idea to install because you have something outside, and we have something outside making noise at night. It carries a lot louder than during the day, because at night there's less noise to just drown this noise. And if you have a strobe light flashing, then anybody can pinpoint where the alarm is coming from, instead of just some sort of echo around the neighborhood that somewhere in one of those houses or places there's an alarm system that went off. Okay. Now, sometimes the client wants something that's called a silent alarm. So then you just put the resistor there. 1 kilo resistor or something like that is good. It's for the system to detect that there's something connected to these terminals, and it's not going to come up with errors that the bell is disconnected or there's trouble with the siren. Because sometimes you want the system to be silent, so if somebody breaks in, the alarm triggers, but the person who's breaking in, they don't know that the alarm has triggered. They don't even know that the alarm is there. So then the alarm will send the signal to the monitoring station. And how the monitoring station works is that they receive the signal, this system here will identify itself, and it's going to tell which zone was triggered. And based on the client information that they have registered in their files, automatically on the computer, the monitoring station is going to have popped up that this is so-and-so, address so-and-so, here's the phone number to the business, or to the premises, there's phone number to the client, and zone number 3 is a glass break on the east window, right? Then when the next thing they will see that right after that, there will be a motion sensor triggered inside, and then another motion sensor, so they will intuitively know that probably somebody broke in. You know? And based on the information that they have, the monitoring station will react. How is the monitoring station going to react? Whatever you give them the instructions. So for this client, for example, this particular client, so okay, the alarm goes off. What do we do? First, we call the premises. So they will call premises to see somebody is on site. Nobody picks up the phone, then they will try to call the client, like the owner of the business. Nobody picks up. Then the next thing is to call police, right? Or, if the client picks up and they're going to ask, what do you want us to do? Oh, I'll just go and check it out myself. Yeah, suit yourself. Or, so yeah, please call the police. I'm also going to be on my way. So that's how monitoring station works. Now, these two, one, two, three, four, these are program outputs, and based on the type of or brand of the alarm or whatnot, I think this particular one, if you program certain type of conditions to it, like for example, the condition would be if the alarm is in the alarm state, then do something with this one here. And I think these guys here, they just get connected, physically connected to the ground or the negative terminal of the power supply, and that means from the auxiliary power supply, they are going to have a closed circuit, so something is going to get powered based on some condition. Another condition could be if the system is armed, then pull this to the ground, let something else know. Another condition could be if there is trouble or something like that, on certain type of trouble, do this. Excuse me. And there could be different conditions. So you have 4 program buttons to trigger other devices based on what condition could be. What could be another condition? The alarm system could be interfaced with something that's called access control. These are access control is the another thing to business to get into. Is the those swipes, the card, swiping the card, like a card swipe to enter. We have that all over our place in our school. I just swipe the card to unlock the door to the classroom. Okay. So access control is also could be interfaced with the alarm system, and those program terminals can be utilized to send additional messages to additional external devices. And here is a common button, a common terminal. So in that case, these could be powered. So there's certain conditions. Now, some of them pull the terminals to ground. Some of the alarm system send the power to the terminal based on certain condition. Of course, you have to consult your manual to see which case you have, because one brand could have that, and they could have another system from the same brand but different model, and it's going to work different. So you always have to kind of make sure what's happening, and just verify it. You can verify with the ohm meter or the voltmeter, if something happens. But those have to be programmed. It's in programming, and use laptop and different kind of software to program the whole alarm system, right? Then there is a relay here. Actually, this command here is for this relay. There's only one relay, and here's in the normally open state, and here's the normally closed state. They work similarly to the program buttons, this relay, but that gives you, instead of pulling this either to up or down, depending on the alarm system, usually it just pulls it down. Then relay gives you a dry contact possibility, so you could have the relay kick in based on something. Usually it would be alarm or arm state, or something that's called stay arm, which is stay arm condition is if you're in the house and if you just want to go to sleep, instead of arming the house, you do the stay arm, which means you stay inside, but the system is armed. And you assign different zones, different sensors to the stay arm condition. So let's say, for example, if you want to get, the kitchen could be disarmed, some of the hallways, all the inside sensors, motion sensors will be disarmed, but the outside parameter could be armed. So nobody can get in the house. Well, they can, but things are going to trigger. So that would be, and then you can go to sleep, or you can have that. You can have a remote control, or you can have a keypad right by your bed, and you can stay arm the system, so everything gets armed except the motion sensor in your bedroom and the motion sensor in the hallway that leads to the washroom. Okay, so that's the stay arm, and the based on arm or stay arm, this relay can be also triggering other devices. So you have some possibilities of like interfacing with external devices, whatever they might be. Now here we move to this type of section of the connectors. We'll skip this one for a sec, concentrate on that quickly. Here's a common, that's the same points for your convenience. And these are zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. This one here, this board has 8 individual zones. What is a zone? A zone is a trigger point. And to the trigger point, you can connect sensors. So you can connect, usually to zone 1, you put like the front entrance. But you don't have to. You can have front entrance on zone 3, right? It's something else. But let's say zone 1 is the front entrance door contact. So the door opens, that then triggers. Door closes, it's at ease. Zone 2 could be motion sensors on the bottom floor. So you can connect all the motion sensors on the bottom floor or whatever to zone 2. And if any one of those triggers, they have to be wired a certain way, like in series. If any one of those triggers, then, well, you're going to have an alarm state. Let's say zone 3 could be all the contacts in the living room, when all the window contacts in living room, and maybe dining room, which fits an open concept. It just kind of doesn't make sense. So you can combine those zones. With 8 zones, you have a lot of possibilities, because if you have 3 windows on the same wall, or maybe 3 windows in the living room, excuse me, you're not going to assign a separate zone to every single window, because you're going to run out of zones pretty quickly. But if you can connect all those 3 window contacts that are beside each other on the same wall to one of the zones, then you just use those zone triggers frugally, okay, sensibly. All right, and so on. So these will be the zones to which you can connect motion sensors, door contacts, panic buttons, glass break detectors, seismic detectors, and all kinds of whatever detects, water level detectors, sump pump detectors. You can connect one of the zones to the output of a fire alarm, and use that zone which if this is the one that is connected to the monitoring station, then it will contact the monitoring station, and it says zone like 7 got triggered. That's with the fire alarm. Okay, well, the instructions with that one could be call fire department right away, right? That kind of stuff. Right? So these will be the zones. Now, how the zone works is that if you have a direct connection from the common to the zone, then the zone is at ease, armed or disarmed. Usually, you can program that thing another way, different ways. You can program this thing to be normally open. Normally, it's programmed as normally closed. You can program this thing as an end-of-line resistor, so it is going to look for certain type of resistance at the end of the line to be at ease. Anything else could be trouble or alarm. So there will be the zone. So if this thing is broken, so if you wire that to the door contact above the door, if the door is open, the magnet that's mounted on the door gets away from the switch. Switch opens, that thing opens, and if it's armed, and if it's programmed to react, then you're going to have an alarm situation. If the system is disarmed, it is going to let you on the keypad that door number whatever is opened. Okay? And sometimes you can program the keypad to display the names of the doors, like front entrance open, rear door open or closed. Right. So now but the contact that is connected to the door contact, is a passive device, which means it does not require power to operate. It's just a switch that opens and closes based on the, magnet that goes beside it or not, near it or not. So it's the proximity of the magnet. Now, here we have a couple other connections. One is the auxiliary, and that's usually it will be the 12-volt DC constant. Now, as far as the power or the current availability, you have to consult the manual that applies to this. Some of them have more current capabilities, some of them less. So now this is to connect the active devices. Like, for example, a motion sensor is an active device. It needs to be powered to work. Okay, somebody picked it up. Motion sensor will be an active device. It will have two types of connections, 4 terminals. One would be the power to it, and the other terminal would be the dry contact. That based on the motion or not, the contact can be opened or closed, which could be connected to one of the zones and give the zone the condition that reflects what's happening in the room. Glass break detectors are active devices. They need power to operate. Whatever else. There are other active devices like expansion board. You need more zones. You get an expansion board. Now, the expansion board you can connect to this one here sometimes if you don't have too many devices connected, like motion sensors and keypads and everything. Or you can get a separate power from that, from separate power supply to an expansion board if you need more zones. Now, here is the bus, because keypads also get the power from the auxiliary power here. They need to work. So the keypads, instead of having the auxiliary or the power and the zone, because keypad does not need that's not a trigger, it's not a sensor, it's a keypad. They're connected to the bus. Remember we were talking about the bus configuration? It's 2 lines, basically one pair of wires that is connected to one of the keypads, another keypad, whatever amount of keypads. And the protocol of the communication is solved between the keypads and whatever the communication circuitry on the board is, that just through that one pair of wires, each keypad can communicate with the main board individually, right? And at the same time. Same as the air serves for radio communications. Over here, we have communication module. Now, this is for the telephone communications, because there's more than one way the alarm system can be connected to the monitoring station. This one here has to do with the plain old telephone service POTS. Notice there's a ground, so okay, yeah, there's a ground, self-explanatory. Now, you have tip and ring, and then you have tip 1 and ring 1. We're familiar with the tip and ring already, but why do we have 2? How does the alarm system work? Well, a properly installed alarm system and connected to a POTS line is that you take the phone line where it comes into the building and disconnect that phone line from the rest of the building. You just get the raw incoming line from the outside. connect that thing to the tip and ring of the alarm system. Then you grab the line from the tip and ring one, tip one and ring one, and then from there you connect that to the rest of the house. So you're putting that whole system in line with the rest of the building or the rest of the house or whatever communications you have there. So if there is a need, if there is like normally, that thing will be just passing the line through. No problem. Nobody knows what's going on. Not even noticing that this thing exists. But if there's alarm condition, any kind of alarm, then the alarm system will steal the telephone line from the rest of the building. Doesn't matter if somebody is talking on that line, it's going to cut them off, hang up that line so the dial tone reestablishes. It's going to pick up the line, dial the number to the monitoring station, communicate with the monitoring station, hang up, and release the line back to the rest of the house. So that's the idea of the telephone. Now, there is also a serial interface to which, well, you plug in the serial interface that you can connect to your laptop to program. Excuse me. There's some bug going around. So you can connect your laptop through something that's called the serial interface, through which you can program the alarm system, and that involves a lot. Now, that also can be connected to something that's called an IP module. It's a small device that is connected to this serial port here, and on the other end of the IP interface, Internet Protocol, it's an Ethernet jack, which you can connect that to a network, which in turn you can program this bunch of passwords and access ways to do it, so you can log in to the system from outside. You can work from home, and let's say the client calls and say, "Yeah, I forgot how to do the passwords," because clients will forget that. Somebody is not working for us anymore, and we just need to remove them from the access. So when can you do it? And you can say, "I can do it right now. Give me 5 minutes. I'll just log in and remove that person's password." Right? You can log in from outside, or if you're on site, you plug in your laptop to the network, and you can access that through the network. So you don't need to have the serial interface. So there's more than one ways to access the alarm system as far as the programming. Other peripheral devices here, memory key. Some of them are obsolete, not used that much, because this one is a memory key. There was that, one of the brands was doing it, so you have all the programming done. You put in the memory key in there, just like early form of a jump drive. You plug that thing in, and then you shoot all the programming into that memory key. So if you need to replace that board because of a lightning storm hit or something like that, it's completely useless. You just get the same one, and instead of doing all the programming from scratch, you can just shoot that whole information from the memory key, and everything is programmed. So this here is the first slide of the main board main board explained. Now these here next slides are just basically magnifications of what I was saying, but I was able to zoom in on the zoom. Right? So I just explained the basics of the basics as far as the main board works. Later on, when we talk about this, I'm going to give you some more details on the sensors, how the sensors are connected, and I'm going to give you some overview on some of the basic features on what you do to program the systems, and of course, what types of cables are needed to be used in the alarm system, as opposed to what we're concentrating most of the time on our data systems. All right, so I think we went a couple minutes overboard, so we're going to stop right now. Please don't forget to write the test. And the 3 labs, just come to the session from my class. The other groups that are with Mr. Bailey and Mr. Habinski, just watch communications from them and see how it's going to be mostly the same thing. We're going to get some people get in and do the demo, do the labs, and then whatever is left is going to come maybe next time to finish that one lab. And at the end of those, because we have 3 sessions designated for that, then we're going to have an open lab, and that's going to be it for the labs. This year, we were able to do way more labs than we usually would be able to. So that's pretty good. I consider that thing as a great success. So cool. Mr. Riekers, are you here? Did you want to talk to the class maybe? Maybe not? Nope. Okay, so that's it for today. Guys and gals, please have a wonderful week. Week 11.